This is insane. A brand new promotional scene from Stranger Things Season 5 has just been released, and once again we have our group reunited just like the old days. We see Dustin holding several tapes referencing classic 80s movies, the boys building a setup so they can watch all the films at the same time, and of course, a big hint at how they're gonna learn what they need in order to defeat VECNA in this 5th season. But everything falls apart when the device burns out, and the Upside Down simply takes over the place. However, there's a detail in this new promotional scene that very few people noticed, and it will be crucial for the outcome of Season 5, but I'm only going to reveal it at the end of the video. The newly revealed clip from Stranger Things Season 5, where Dustin walks in carrying a handful of 80s VHS tapes, may seem simple at first glance, a playful nod to the show's nostalgic heart. But if we take a closer look, especially through the lens of everything we've learned from teasers, interviews, leaks, and the darker turn the Duffers have promised for the final season, this moment becomes far more layered. Stranger Things has never used pop culture references randomly. These films, Commando, Back to the Future, E.T., and The Empire Strikes Back, act as a thematic blueprint for the emotional, narrative, and tonal direction of Season 5. They reflect not just the 80s, but the specific ingredients that the final season is about to mix: war, time, childhood innocence, betrayal, connection, and the inevitable collapse before the end. Let's begin with Commando. This might be the most straightforward reference, but ironically, it might also be the most revealing. Season 5 is shaping up to be a militarized battleground, something the latest official poster already hinted at, with helicopters circling Hawkins and the WSQK radio tower blinking ominously in the background. Leaks have already confirmed multiple scenes involving military convoys, raids, and a government faction operating independently from Dr. Owens' former team. Is pure 80s adrenaline. A lone warrior fighting impossible odds, explosions everywhere, and a desperate rescue mission driving the entire plot. That idea of rescue might be one of the most important clues. For months, insiders have suggested that Will Byers will be at the emotional center of this season because his connection to the Upside Down is reaching a breaking point. Just as Schwarzenegger's character plunges into an all-or-nothing mission to save someone he loves, the party may face a similar ultimatum: save Will or lose him, and maybe the entire world. Forever. Will's visions are intensifying. His mind is becoming more entangled with VECNA's hive, and everything points to a psychological war where the heroes must invade the darkness to pull him out. The presence of Commando and Dustin's stack is basically a flashing sign saying, prepare for rescue missions, infiltration, and all-out war. But war alone doesn't define Season 5. Then comes Back to the Future. And this is where things get interesting, because time, memory, timelines, and loops have been central to every theory this past year. We've discussed repeatedly how the Upside Down being frozen on November 6, 1983 is not a coincidence. It is a design, and a design implies a designer. VECNA's power is rooted in the manipulation of consciousness, memory, and psychic state. Many leaks suggest that the characters may revisit earlier moments of their lives, not literally traveling through time, but experiencing visions or mental reconstructions as they attempt to understand how the Upside Down became a temporal echo. This is pure Back to the Future energy. The idea that the past shapes the present, that tiny events reverberate through time, and that confronting earlier moments might provide a solution. The new Season 5 poster, with the boys back on their bikes as if returning to childhood, only reinforces this idea. The final season will be cyclical, a return to the beginning. The tape isn't just there for nostalgia. It is a thematic anchor, hinting that the party may be forced to go back in order to break the cycle. Then comes E.T., the film that Stranger Things owes its soul to. Kids, bikes, flashlights, mysterious forces, and the government poking its nose where it shouldn't. It's practically the show's DNA. But E.T. carries a much deeper emotional parallel for Season 5. E.T. becomes physically sick because of his connection to humans. Will Byers has spent years spiritually, psychically, and emotionally linked to the Mind Flayer and now VECNA. This connection is finally reaching its boiling point. Noah Schnapp's recent comments suggest Will's journey will be painful and transformative, possibly tragic. In E.T., the ultimate heartbreak is letting go, a forced separation, a goodbye. Season 5 will almost certainly play with this emotional core. The loss of innocence, the end of childhood, and the painful truth that some bonds, even the supernatural ones, hurt as much as they heal. And with leaks hinting at Will collapsing or entering a trance state early in the season, the symbolism becomes even clearer. Will is the emotional heart of Stranger Things, just as E.T. is the emotional heart of that film. The tape is a warning. Prepare for tears. Finally, we get The Empire Strikes Back, arguably the most important film in the stack. Everything we've learned about the tone of Season 5 matches the DNA of Empire. It is the darkest chapter, the point where the heroes split apart, suffer losses, and face truths they are not prepared for. It is the chapter where the villain wins. VECNA isn't defeated. He's recovering, rebuilding, expanding. The poster showing the upside-down swallowing Hawkins confirms that the darkness is already winning. More importantly, Empire is famous for its major twist, a revelation that redefines the entire story. Stranger Things is overdue for a twist of that magnitude. Some leaks suggest a deeper connection between Henry Creel and the Mind Flayer, and even darker implications for Will's role as the original target. The tape symbolizes the narrative shift about to come: revelations, betrayal, psychic transformations, and the emotional collapse before the final battle. Together, these four films form a prophetic puzzle. Commando points to the war. Back to the Future points to the return of the past. E.T. points to emotional sacrifice. Empire points to darkness and revelation. This little stack of VHS tapes isn't just set decorations, it's the Duffers winking at us. Season 5 will be epic, emotional, tragic, nostalgic, and terrifying. And just like these movies, it will become a final chapter that defines a generation. So, the boys decide to pop in some classic movies to study them like a battle manual, hoping to extract any possible reference on how to beat VECNA. Everything is going smoothly until suddenly the VCR dies, and in perfect Stranger Things fashion, the creepy vines from the Upside Down begin to materialize in the living room. Will immediately senses that familiar spine-chilling shiver, and then, of course, things get much worse. As a fun detail, the lamp in the house even has a shape that subtly resembles a demogorgon, like a little warning sign no one noticed until it was too late. And all of this connects directly to one of the biggest questions leading into the final season: the Stranger Things Season 5 time jump. Netflix finally confirmed the official timeline for the show's last chapter, and yes, Season 5 does indeed include a significant leap forward. Ever since the show debuted in 2016, fans have loved it not only for the monsters and mysteries, but also for its nostalgic dedication to the 1980s. It pays tribute to the decade's lifestyle, fashion, music, and the iconic movies that shaped a generation, the same films Dustin is holding in this scene. Across 4 seasons, the story has spanned several years within that decade. Season 1 begins in the fall of 1983, Season 2 continues into late 1984, Season 3 takes place in the summer of 1985, and Season 4 ends in the spring of 1986. That cliffhanger ending revealed that VECNA had successfully begun merging Hawkins with the Upside Down, leaving the characters facing the apocalypse right at their doorstep. But the Duffers later revealed that when we return to the story in Season 5, some time will have passed, and not just a little. Netflix has officially confirmed that Season 5 is set during the fall of 1987, marking the show's biggest time jump so far. In other words, the final season begins almost exactly 4 years after Will Byers first disappeared on November 6, 1983. Of course, Stranger Things is no stranger to time jumps. The first season ends with a 1-month jump to Christmas, while Season 3 ends with a 3-month leap forward. So even though Season 5 starts in late 1987, it's entirely possible that the series finale will include another jump, giving us a glimpse into the futures of the main characters as Hawkins emerges from the ashes. Considering the group is expected to graduate in the spring of 1989, it would be fitting if the story lets us see them closing the chapter of their childhood at the same time the 1980s come to an end. Still, the final battle against VECNA officially starts in the fall of 1987. In the Season 5 trailer, it's clear that the group has been preparing, but VECNA's influence has only grown stronger. The clock is ticking, and their chance to fight back is rapidly shrinking. The release schedule matches the scale of the season as well. Fans have waited over 3 years for this final installment, and Netflix is stretching out the experience even further. Season 5 is divided into 3 parts. The first 4 episodes release on November 26, the next 3 on December 25, and the grand finale arrives on December 34. But the franchise doesn't stop there. An animated spin-off titled Stranger Things: Tales from '85 is already set for 2026. Alright, before VECNA cuts our Wi-Fi again, hit that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and every single one of you is part of this Hawkins crew. Now, regarding the time jump from the character's perspective, Season 5 takes place a year and a half after the end of Season 4, the longest gap between seasons within the story. For comparison, Season 1 to Season 2 saw a 10-month jump. Season 2 to Season 3 was 6 months, and Season 3 to Season 4 was 9 months. With an 18-month leap, the characters, especially the younger ones, have changed significantly both physically and emotionally. Fans have been discussing this for a long time. The actors are much older now, and the narrative needed a way to make that feel natural. In Season 5, the party members will be about 16 and 17 years old. Erica around 12-13, Nancy, Jonathan, and Robin roughly 19-20, and Steve Harrington about 20-21. One striking change will be Holly Wheeler. She started the show as a toddler in Season 1. By Season 5, she'll be around 8 years old. But the most intriguing detail is that Season 5 will not remain stuck in 1987. According to the first 5 minutes released early by Netflix, the story will return to 1983 in flashback. These scenes will show more of Will's original experience trapped in the Upside Down. The preview reveals Will escaping the Demogorgon, only to be captured by VECNA himself. VECNA tells Will, "We can begin. We'll create such beautiful things together." This moment confirms what fans have theorized for years. VECNA was involved with Will's disappearance from the start. The villain has been the puppeteer behind every major event since day one. This revelation opens the door for more flashbacks throughout Season 5, potentially showing missing pieces of the timeline and providing answers to mysteries that have been building for nearly a decade. Whether these flashbacks will mirror the boys watching their VHS tapes, revisiting the past to understand how to fight the present, remains to be seen. But if there's one thing Stranger Things does consistently, it's weaving nostalgia with narrative purpose. And this new scene with the movies is exactly that. A clue, a callback, and a warning.